Hello, everyone. My name is Jill Rowetter, and I'm a District RN for Jeffco Public Schools. In this video, I'm going to be going over the new illness surveillance process that we're going to be utilizing this semester. Along with this video in the email, you should be receiving a copy of the spreadsheet as well as the step-by-step. So let's go through this together. So as you can see here, we just have a spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet, and we are going to want to integrate this into our health room logs. So in order to do that, you're going to go to the bottom here where it says new COVID tab on the bottom and right click. And you are going to go up to copy to and then existing spreadsheet. And if you click there, that takes you to your drive and you can go into your school and select the health room log that you want to put this sheet into. Now we're going to go over the different scenarios in which we might use this sheet. The step-by-step is color-coded: yellow for attendance secretary, green for health aide, blue for district RN, and pink for high schools. They are color-coded to correlate with the spreadsheet in order for the intention of that person that would be filling this in. Now, this is the intended use for that person to fill it in, but that doesn't always happen depending on your school system. So there might be situations where the health aide is filling in attendance secretary pieces. But let's go through this. So the first scenario is absences due to illness. So the attendance secretary will come into this spreadsheet once a day and fill in only the yellow columns for students that have been called in with reported illness on day one only. So you can see here, I put today's date. Brad Pitt was called in. On the attendance line, you want to check off there. And the name of the person calling them in, of course, that's April. And then the symptoms that were reported and just the initials here, and that's all that they have to do. I did put another entry here to show, you know, Star-Lord got called in, and just some quotes that the parent just stated that they weren't feeling well. And then again, the initials here, and that attendance secretary is done with her piece. We do want to complete this process as early in the day as possible because the health aide is going to come back through after this and do a little bit of follow-up. So what the health aide is going to do is come in here and send these families the district COVID symptom parent letter. So the link to that letter is in the step-by-step, and it does need to be updated with RN info as that document has changed a little bit. So if you have paper copies in your health rooms and medical safe rooms, we do need to update that document, make sure we're giving everybody the most updated copy. So after that email is sent to those families, we're going to want to document that in the campus contact log. And then we're going to come over here and check that off as letter sent over here in column S. Then the next thing that they're going to want to do is calculate the day 3 of symptoms for those kids that were called in. So you're going to use day 1 as the day that they were called in. So 127, 128, 129 is going to be day 3. Same thing here for Star-Lord. And so we're going to put that date here in the day 3 of symptoms column. And then also something to consider is that day 1 of illness might not be the same as day 1 of absence. There's situations such as it's a Monday and the parent states that the student was sick over the weekend, or certain special circumstances such as that. We always want to make sure that we're verbalizing to our team, whether the attendance secretary says that or we just have to make a note of it. Sometimes day 1 could be this, or day 3 could be the same day as they were calling in. So the next thing that the health aide is going to want to do is come into this spreadsheet once a day and double check which days are on day 3. So let's, which students are on day 3, excuse me. So let's say it's the 29th today. So if they come in and see that it's the 29th for these 2 students, they're going to want to either run an absence report or just look these kids up in campus and see if they have come back to school in that 3-day window. So if we said that Brad Pitt came back the very next day, that's well within the protocol. If he was feeling better, he can come back. Now, Star-Lord, if he hasn't come back to school and we see that he's still gone, then what we would do is just leave this blank here, and that is a good signal to the RN that follow-up is needed to call that family. Scenario 2 is going to cover students that are in the medical safe room due to illness during the school day. So this is very similar to the setup of how the COVID tab was before. So you can see these two entries here are medical safe room entries. So this kiddo came in today on the 27th, Ziggy Marley, into the medical safe room with a fever. We took the temperature, 100.6. Obviously, we're going to contact that parent and get that kiddo home. Kid got picked up by Bob and what time and whatnot. So all of those are very similar to how it was before. And then we have David Beckham here that came in just after that, medical safe room with a stomach ache. And we looked that kiddo up in campus. And if you come over here, we saw that there was a flag that said anxiety with frequent stomach aches. And so per the RN, that student was able to just rest for 10 minutes and return to class. And so we put back to class and just checked that off there. Now we're going to want to go back through and add day 3 to Ziggy Marley. When Ziggy left the school, we physically handed the parent the COVID parent symptom letter, so we can check that off here, and we want to make sure we document that interaction in campus as well. But we can come back through here and set day 3 for that student as well. Okay. So scenario 3 is going to be when you have a student that you find out has been quarantined due to a positive exposure. So here on line 7, we have Lady Gaga that was exposed, and maybe the parent called it in, or we find out through a teacher email or what have you. But either way, all we need in this row is the date and the student's name. And then we're going to come over here to the quarantine columns and just enter the relevant information there. So exposure to positive, maybe we can be a little bit more specific and say exposure to neighbor if we know more about that. And then the beginning date for the quarantine and the return date to school for that kiddo. And then the next scenario is going to be a positive student. So if we find out of a positive student, we know that we have a lot more follow-up there. So the first thing that's going to happen is the district RN is going to need to contact that family and collect some information and fill out the student positive form. Once they've done that and they have the pertinent dates available for return, they will let the health aide know, and the health aide can go in here and add this information in. So we have today's date, Bradley Cooper. That's probably who Lady Gaga was exposed to. And then we're going to go over to this isolation column. We're going to check off that this student is COVID positive. We found out that they tested on the 25th. So we have a tested for COVID date column, and we put that date in, said yes, and found out from the RN that the return to school is February 4th. So we can put that here. And then for any students that are on quarantine or positive, so we have both scenario 3 and scenario 4, the last thing that the health aide is going to need to do for those students is email that student's teacher or teachers, depending on grade level, letting them know that the student is out and what the return date is. We want to make sure we just say the student name and the return date only. There is a template for that in the step-by-step. I want to keep it very simple. Dear teacher, your student name will be out until return date. Please reach out to the family regarding makeup work, just to help kind of close that chain of communication there. And in all scenarios, the district RN is going to want to come through on a regular basis in column AA and sign off and make sure that all the information is correct and that all the dates are correct, and go ahead and initial off on this spreadsheet. And then of course, they're going to be coming through and following up daily with students who are on day 3 and need a phone call to that family for follow-up there on the protocol. And then also, of course, still taking care of any of the student positives and following up with the information there. The last section at the very end is pink, and that is for high school students and high school health rooms. And this is something that needs to be shared with the athletic trainer as well. And the athletic trainer and the RN for those schools will work together to take care of students that are involved in athletics, because there is a return to play protocol involving COVID. And your RN will have more information on that. And so we put this spreadsheet together, and we're hoping this kind of streamlines the process. And so thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and you take care.